What is up? It's Hipster George Washington, Hipster GW. Welcome to Hipster Code. So, I wanted to show off a little bit of my Souls-like game that I'm working on. I've been promising it in previous videos. If you are not new to the channel, if you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm not going to be talking about my video game today, so you're going to get a quick preview of it. But what I wanted to talk about was making custom invisible walls. So, I've been working in Unreal Engine for several years as a hobby, and I only realized that you can use just a regular blocking volume as an invisible wall, like so. So it's like you don't want anybody to go down there, you don't want the main character to go down there, so, you know, you make the annoying invisible wall like we had in Black Myth Wukong all the time that always got on my nerves as much as I love the game. But there's, you know, this one is just a little imperfect, right? Because you can tell that it's just a straight line. You can see that it doesn't really follow the ridge. It would be better if it followed the ridge. It's not the end of the world, but it would be better if it followed the ridge. And you can see what it is, if I can even find the volume. There it is. It's just a regular blocking volume that's just a rectangle. But you actually have the ability to make custom volume shapes. I found this out by this guy, Gaming Dev 2020's video called Custom Volume Shapes Unreal Engine. He made it back in 2023. It was a game changer. I've been wondering forever if you could do this, and I just never really looked into it because I kind of didn't even know what to Google, and I assumed it would be really difficult, but it's actually pretty simple, especially if you're, you know, I would consider myself more intermediate level. So if we go over here to this invisible wall, I was struggling with it because this ridge had just enough shapes that I had to put multiple rectangle volumes, but look at it now. Now it's near dang perfect. It's exactly where it needs to be. And you can see it's a custom shape of a volume. So I followed that tutorial that showed how to do it with just a regular trigger volume, but you could do it with a blocking volume as well. So I'm just gonna get rid of this invisible wall that's a rectangle here. And so you have to go to here. Let me go back to selection. So this is just the normal mode. I'm in selection mode here in the Unreal editor. You want to go to this brush editing. Now, I didn't even know. Again, I've seen this here in the drop-down menu for years. It's there. We have additional options in Unreal Engine 5. The guy followed, it was either an earlier version of Unreal Engine 5 or Unreal Engine 4, where you don't have all these options, but brush editing is still there. I don't even know how else you can use this other than the example I'm about to show. But what you do is you use this pin tool. So if you go down to the drop down, you go to brush editing mode, you click on this pin. I'm just using this extrude depth for the same because you can increase the Z scale for anything that you make. So I'm just using whatever these defaults are. You can't actually use the pin tool, I found out, in perspective. So you have to go to one of the orthographic modes. So I'm here, and my problem is I don't know where everything is in orthographic mode and top down. So I went to top down. So this is the problem that I need to figure out because I can't tell what I'm looking at with wireframe. I'm in unlit, everything. I don't know how to, I didn't have this problem on the other level. Okay, well, this is as close as it's going to get. I'm getting some clipping here, and I've tried a couple of different things, both in project setting, and I typed in a couple of console commands. Okay, well, we can see it. All I need to do is see this ridgeway, because I need to place pin pricks, pin dots, by going to the pin tool. I'm just leaving the default settings that I talked about earlier. You're going to hover over it, and I'm going to click space. Now you want to click space in the left click button, but space is all you need to do. And now it's not working. There it is. So I had to click on it first. Now I click space, and now you're just clicking space. You're not left clicking. And then you see I'm just gonna follow this ridgeway. I think it's going to create this volume down further on the Z axis. So I'm gonna try and get a little bit further into the snow so that my player doesn't accidentally, you know, fall. So then what I want to do is, it doesn't really matter how thick it is. I'm just gonna go out this direction and then create the full shape, and then you see how it auto connects. Then I'm going to click the enter key, and now it creates a, an actual polygon shape. And then the tutorial says to go up here to this optimize. It might be hard to see because I'm on a 4K screen, but it changed from the tutorial where it was located, where the guy was showing. It's up here in the top left now. So you click optimize, and then it makes slightly better polygons, I assume. We can go back into the select mode, and then you have this brush shape here. And if you zoom in here, let's go back to perspective. Let's zoom in on our brush. And then you can see it's not going to create it on the Z-axis where you want it. So I'm just going to move it up. And it's pretty close to exactly what I wanted. I'm going to make it taller just so you can't accidentally jump over it or something like that. So then you see here we have this brush. But what you want to do is go to the details panel. Go to... Here it is, convert actor. You want to go to convert actor, and you're going to select a type, and then it gives you all these different default volume types. And so this is where I'm wondering, you could probably do it for a nav volume. Yeah, you could do a nav mesh bounds volume, so you could create your own custom nav volume. But I'm just going to go to blocking volume, and then you see it makes it turn invisible. If you are specifically doing a blocking volume and you want to see it, you can go to display shaded volume. And then if that's too bright, you can always turn down that. So you can actually physically see where it's at. Click the escape button. And then if we go to play, it's obviously going to disappear. But when you're in the editor, you can still see where it is. But now, you saw earlier, we were really struggling to have this perfectly shaped volume. But now you can see it follows the ridgeway. And so my player can't accidentally fall into the abyss. And okay, cool. I did shape it properly. The one problem that I mentioned was you have to use the orthographic top-down camera because if you figure out a way to do it with the regular perspective camera, let me know. But it wouldn't let me place down pin marks unless if I was in the top-down camera. So, yeah, that was my way. It was something I learned today. It helps me with this game I'm making. So I'm going to show off more things about this game later down the road. Obviously, it's still in early stages, but it's also my whole goal with it is I just want to make a game as fast as possible. But then every time that I keep going about it, I keep saying, oh, well, this isn't perfect. I want to make this perfect. So I'll be showing it off more here in the near future, but hope you have a good one, and we'll see you in the next one. This is Hipster GW, Hipster Codes. We'll see you in the next video. Thanks.